I was sent this post from Waiting to Wed, and obviously the name of the subreddit says she's still interested in marriage. And I know I've shared posts and comments from women who have completely opted out, but know and understand that none of us women are the same, and some have different value systems, beliefs, and wants. So let's get into her post. She says, "Am I wrong for what I told my boyfriend?" So the boyfriend's 28, she's 25. She says, "My boyfriend and me have been dating for 2 years, lived together for a little over a year. We share expenses, spend a lot of time together. Both our families like each other, and we share a cat I had prior to dating him. He's an EMT who just started nursing school, and I'm planning to start my master's for ENP soon. We recently were watching TV, and a character on there said, 'I love her, but I don't know if I wife love her,' when talking about his girlfriend on the show. He then stated he wife loved me, and I jokingly said, 'Well, you got 1.5 years to make it happen then.' He asked me what I meant, and I said, 'Well, you're not planning on making me a longtime girlfriend, are you?' He then said, 'You are going to be a longtime girlfriend, baby.'" What? Let me repeat that. He then said, "You are going to be a longtime girlfriend, baby," and listed wanting to advance his professional career, and I want to finish school and then do everything the right way. I told him I'm only waiting up to 3.5 years, and if he can't propose by then I'm moving on. Okay. She gave a hard timeline right there. She stated exactly what she expects. And okay, I see that. I like the black and white, leaves no wiggle room. I said I would need a sign of more commitment given I moved across the world for him because he used to be in the military, which I had to leave my hometown, my entire family, and my job. And the only person I know here is him now. And if he isn't sure by then if he wants to marry me, it's best we go our separate ways. I said, I'm going to be someone's wife someday. Whether you want that to be yours is up to you. Okay. He got upset and just silently left upstairs to go game. Am I wrong for saying that? Maybe I could have been nicer, but I mean it. He's been married before and got married earlier than what we've been dating with the other girl. So I don't see why he would want to have me wait if he's always claimed he's never loved anyone like this, that I'm the love of his life and he can't imagine being without me. Plus, he just started school, so it'll take another 3 to 4 years to finish. Edit. I see a lot of people bringing this up and how it's all a shock to him. This isn't the first time we talked about it. He knew about it since the first date. We talked about it to make sure we're on the same page several times through our first year too. I made everything expected crystal clear, clarified anything he had questions about, talked about what I was willing to compromise and what I wasn't, and let him know if he disagreed with or didn't like any of that, we should stop seeing each other. He has said he wanted to be married because that was important to him and how he saw it in the near future after we lived together for 6 months. He didn't live with his ex before marriage and they divorced within a year due to incompatibility. He didn't bring up wanting to wait until yesterday. I hadn't brought anything up before then because he always makes comments about how he can't wait to marry me or have kids with me, so I had no reason to think he'd change his mind. In January, he brought up wanting to buy a house together by December of this year, and we talked about it again then. He made it seem he still felt the same that he did when we initially discussed it. He knows I won't have kids without marriage or buy a house if we're not at least engaged. I've made that crystal clear since the beginning. None of it should be a surprise to him. I think what's going on, a lot of these men simply think that once they get their hooks in you, once they think they have you, that you won't leave. And I think that some women are very rooted in their expectations. Like this woman seems pretty crystal clear. Like as I'm reading this is a young woman who knows exactly what she wants and she's willing to walk away when it's not suiting her. She's not going to bend herself in a pretzel to stay with this man if she's not getting what she wants. And I like that she put out the expectations early on and she's clarifying it and she's saying, okay, cool. If that is not you, then I will move on. She's given him a hard deadline and some people might not like women being so self-assured. They might be taken aback at a woman being so assertive and confident in all of that. But I like these young women being able to speak clearly on their expectations, putting boundaries around things that they don't like, and being willing to walk away. That's the important thing, being willing to walk away when your needs aren't being met. It's like getting into a job. It's like, cool, I really love this job. And then you start to see that you're not progressing where you want to be. It's like, cool, I enjoyed the job, the benefits that they said I was going to get in the beginning, but I'm not seeing it progressing like they said. So I'm going to give it a little time and I'm going to see. Okay, I'm seeing that I am not getting what I want out of this for my future self. So I'm going to go ahead and end this right now. And that's the reason why some people don't like it when women are confident, when we have options, when we could do the whole take it or leave it type of situation, because they want to be in control and make women sit in this position thinking that they have no options. And this woman, obviously she has options. She says, I'm going to go ahead and leave this if necessary. Let's look at a few of these comments. According score says, you weren't harsh, but I do think you need to scrap your 1.5 year deadline now that he's made it clear he has no intention of marriage. You'd only be wasting another 1.5 years of your own life if you stay. Lady Klepsidra says, exactly. OP, what you got from that convo is that he is not planning to marry you in your time frame. Since you know this, it's time to move on now. Waiting for a proposal for almost 2 years while he's told you he's not doing it is pointless. You say he wants to buy a house soon and knows you won't do that without a ring, but still is not planning to propose. That doesn't add up. In my opinion, his intentions are clear. He is planning for the both of you to buy a house without an engagement because he believed he will talk you into it and make you break your boundaries around it. How else can you explain that he, 1, wants to buy a house by December, and 2, is not planning to propose even by 1.5 years? The only logical solution is he doesn't treat your no house without a ring seriously. Like same with the kids. In my opinion, if you want a husband, you have to leave him. So these women are being pretty straightforward with her. Like, you're not being too harsh. You just need to stand on it. And we see that, they see that it's not going to go anywhere. Throwaway McThrowaway says this: believe him when he says you'll be a long-term girlfriend. Don't expect that to change because it won't. And if you're able to convince or nag him into doing it, you'll feel like he never really wanted you, and it will breed resentment on both your parts. Okay, there we go. Livid Revolution says, why is it that we never believe them? He is telling her that what he is going to do, but she hears something else and chooses to believe what wasn't actually said. Then Throwaway McThrowaway says, I don't know, man, but I wish I did because it would have saved me so much heartache in my life, and same with so many other women. So y'all weigh in. What do you think about this waiting to wed post? You think she should just walk away? Is she being too harsh? Let me know in the comments. Mother's Day is in a couple of days, and I have a feeling that we are about to start seeing some Mother's Day stories, some mothers who are not being appreciated, all of that, some wives that are not being appreciated. So we're going to start out with this Am I the A-hole post. Now, one of the things that I say about women posting in these Am I the A-hole subreddits, they're simply looking for validation for feeling normal human emotions. She says, am I the a-hole for refusing to spend Mother's Day with my ex and his wife, celebrating her so our kids will? Based on that title alone, absolutely not. You are not being an a-hole, and obviously having some boundaries around you and your ex-husband, that makes sense. But let's go ahead and look at the post. She says, my ex-husband and I share custody of our 17-year-old daughter and 15-year-old son. We divorced 12 years ago and co-parented with difficulty ever since. My ex-husband is remarried, and there were tensions between the three of us for the majority of that time. My ex's wife came in with huge expectations of what she would be to the kids and how involved I would be, and none of it was realistic. She thought I would agree to giving my ex primary custody, and I would be a 1 weekend a month mom. 1 weekend, not a whole week. When that wasn't what happened, she expected everything mom related to be split equally between us. So alternating Mother's Day, taking turns doing Mother's Day events at schools or activities, and even changing who was listed as their mom on certain forms. And she really believed that was something I would do, and something that would cause zero problems with schools and doctors. She expected the kids to call her mom as soon as the wedding ring was on her finger, and she believed I would encourage, meaning force, them to call her mom. This was a long-standing expectation that never got met, not one time. She expected to have the same legal authority as my ex and I had, and that she would get to make certain decisions for the kids without my ex's or my input. Those being where they went to school, what doctors they saw, and what summer camps they go to, and for how long. She also expected to decide a religion for them. The nerve. She wanted to change their last name to a hyphenated name with hers and mine and ex's. She fully expected this to happen too. There was more than a year of her throwing a tantrum because I shut the idea down. This woman sounds batshit crazy. That's basically what this woman sounds like. My ex's wife comes from money and she's used to having things her own way. Okay, I see. So not getting her expectations met made her increasingly bitter towards me. She alienated my kids by being too pushy, controlling, and trying to change their lives to fit what she believes they should be. Case in point, she tried to fight to get them into private school and pressured them to ask me. She wanted my daughter to be in cheer and music classes up to 6 times a week, and she wanted my son in football and boxing 6 times a week. My kids weren't interested in those activities, and she brought them along multiple times and tried to make them take part. She told them that was what boys and girls did. She insulted the parents of one of my son's best friend and then attempted to stop all contact between the two kids. She hated me for refusing to back her up. The kids hated her for all this. While she was thinking of them as her kids, they were wishing their dad would divorce her, and I know they asked at least twice for him to do just that. When his wife learned, she blamed me. The kids make a point of spending as little time as possible with her. They do not appreciate her, and that bothers my ex and his wife. He and I have discussed it, but he told me that they should and that I was bitter for not making them appreciate her. He says she made their lives better no matter what the kids think or say. My ex and his wife did not have a child together until last year, and this coming Mother's Day is her first one as a mom. The day has always been a sore topic for her because the kids are with me and she has, maybe she meant to say she doesn't have anyone but my ex treating her like a mom. Now officially she is one, and she believed that would mean my kids would be there for Mother's Day going forward. But they set that record straight, as did I when asked about it. Now my ex has come up with this insane idea that I should spend the day celebrating his wife and join in their Mother's Day celebrations. He says she's worth celebrating. It's her first time having her own child on Mother's Day, and our kids should be there but won't if I'm not. That sounds like tough titty to me. That sounds like a personal problem. I shut his idea down hard and told him I would not spend the day with his wife. He tried to turn it into a fight, but I walked away from him and have not answered his calls since. He has sent a few texts telling me I needed to reconsider, but I ignored those as well, and then he sent his sister after me. She told me it was so petty of me not even consider meeting in the middle somewhere. And then she stated I was rude about everything. She said I was the reason the kids didn't like their stepmother, and with a half sibling now, I needed to figure it out. I walked away from her as well, but more texts from my ex followed. The only thing giving me pause is the fact that my ex's family doesn't like the new wife, so the fact that ex's sister said what she said is making me question a tiny bit if I'm the a-hole. You're not the a-hole. I knew very early on that you weren't the a-hole. The title and the question alone initially was enough to say you're not the a-hole. You do not need to spend time with people that you don't want to spend time with. I don't care if this your ex's wife, but especially if your ex's wife. This man is not part of your life outside of co-parenting. And if the kids don't want to be with these people, then why should you? Y'all, no, you're not the a-hole. This is where I was tagged in. Fem Shep for real says, not the a-hole. The ex and his wife sound like they have a control complex. Yeah, the wife definitely sounds very entitled. You nor your kids should be pressured to spend time with them. It's obvious no one would be having a good time. And the thing is, these kids are almost old enough to be able to opt out of going over to their dads. If they keep pushing this, he's going to completely alienate his own kids. They've already said, Dad, divorce this woman. They're almost at that age where they can say, I do not want to go over there. So he's going to completely push these kids away, having this pushy wife and not setting this wife straight. But at least they have a new kid that's going to be, lorded over and controlled. But it's not this wife's problem, is not this current older kid's problem. Is not. So she's going to have to figure out somebody else to celebrate her. Global Fact came in saying, hey, hi, F her, and who gives about her expectations? Also, how is this in any way your job? I like how she came in, hey, hi, F her. I'm sorry, I'm still getting over a cough. The OP says, I'm still unsure how it's my job. I suppose because I ruined her precious little expectations. And then Global Fact says, well, it's not. So stick to your guns. Your kids are of the age now. They're going to formulate their own opinions and ways of interaction with her. If your ex isn't careful, they could very easily decide at age 18 they don't want anything to do with this woman at all, or him for that matter. Echo says exactly this. At their age, it's up to them how they feel about her, and clearly they've made their choice on their own. You've done your part as a parent. It's not your job to force relationships that aren't wanted. And I do believe that some people really have this thought that they are, that kids are under their control, that they're just supposed to bend and not have opinions and not share these opinions or whatnot. And that is absolutely wrong. Kids know who they like and who they don't like, and you're not going to be able to force them to like someone. Global Fact says exactly. Apart Foundation says, I'm very surprised that OP has found so many delusional people in one story. Her expectations are laughable, and no normal person would even think of it, let alone say it out loud. X's idea sounds like it was implanted by his crazy wife, and who knows what ex-sister-in-law is thinking. They're all certifiable, not the a-hole. All right, y'all, join the conversation. What do you think? I'm totally sure we'll probably fall on the same on the same opinion on this, but go ahead and join the conversation. This story is a mess. There are boundaries being trampled over. There are coercive actual experiences being forced, and there's possibly financial abuse. So I'm putting that out there. If this is going to be too hard to listen to, please swipe away. I completely understand. She posted this in the relationship advice subreddit. So the husband is 42, she's 36. She says, my husband is pressuring me into a sexual lifestyle I no longer want. I feel trapped. So putting that out there, this definitely might be hard for some people to hear. Okay, for the post. She says, hi Reddit, I really need some outside perspective and support. My husband and I used to have a cuckolding type of dynamic. He was the one who introduced the idea, and I agreed because it was something he really wanted. At the time, I went along with it and tried to do everything he asked, even though I didn't always feel respected. Over time, I started to pull back because it didn't feel emotionally safe or healthy for me anymore. I still participate occasionally, maybe every couple of months, but now he's demanding I do it at least twice a month, or he wants a divorce. He says I've changed and accuses me of not being the partner he married. What hurts most is that he constantly threatens to leave me, which makes me feel completely emotionally unsafe. And if I don't feel secure in the relationship, how can I put myself in vulnerable situations like that? To make things harder, I'm financially dependent on him. He encouraged me to be a stay-at-home mom, and now I have no income or savings of my own. He gives me money for bills and groceries, but nothing else. I feel like I'm being manipulated into sex with other people just to keep a roof over our heads. I'd rather this dynamic be something fun or extra, not something I'm forced into under pressure and fear. I don't want to live like this, but I also don't know how to start over with kids and no money. Has anyone else been through something like this? How did you cope or break free? I'm scared and tired, and I don't want to feel like this anymore. Thank you for reading. This is definitely financial abuse. This is coercive sex. This is all kinds of bad. And as I read that, I'm sure that you probably felt the same hearing that. Like, if you don't participate in sex with these other people, I'm going to make sure you don't have money, and I'm going to walk away from this relationship. And the thing is, they need to divorce. But it would be wild to go into divorce court and say, you know what? I said that I would wanted a divorce because she wouldn't have sex with these other people, and I demanded that she did. That there's literally no consent there. Consent needs to be given freely, not under duress. And this is obviously stressful and emotionally manipulative. This woman needs to get away and get away with their kids. Erratic Dragon hones in on this part. He's demanding I do it at least twice a month, or he wants a divorce, saying, there's no coming back from that sort of ultimatum. Speak to a divorce attorney. And then Alternative Empress says, contact a DV hotline. Be truthful to them. It's financial abuse for sure, but him asking you to have sex with others is physical abuse, is actual abuse, it's all of that. And that's what Reasonable Ad says. He's not really asking, though. It's a coercive demand. And then the person at the bottom says, which is abuse. Like whatever label you put on this abuse, there is abuse all throughout this situation. Born in the 1900s says, I wonder if he was making money off the previous arrangement, and that's why he's getting so caught up in not having it anymore. And then Meta Cosmonaut says, immediately thought she's being pimped out. That is crazy. That's crazy thoughts. But I'm going to tell you, I don't put anything past these people anymore. I put absolutely nothing past these people. Lucky Rook says, I usually am skeptical when Redditors immediately jump to the darkest conclusion. But man, this really sounds plausible. He's clearly controlling the relationship and coercing OP into the type of actual arrangement that he wants. So it's not a stretch to think that he might be doing it for financial gain. Shady as F. And then Born in the late 1900s says ditto. But the case from France has really opened my eyes this year to how awful some people are. Unfortunately, this story reminded me of it. No Pay says my thoughts too. He was pimping her out. And Love Baraka says, yep, sad to say, but this is what it looks like. And the thing is, we are seeing with social media highlighting how terrible people are, how they take people's pictures and share them, how they come into social media and then they game plan how they can take advantage of people, how they really strategize. There is nothing that I put past them. Absolutely nothing. Do not give them the benefit of the doubt. They get no more benefits of the doubt. Doubt their benefits and move in your life to where you have the ability to survive and thrive regardless of if you're married or not. This is the reason why I keep on saying, because I keep on seeing these posts where these women feel stuck. Make sure that you have plans B, C, D, E, F, G, elemental P, all of the plans to be able to walk away if something like this were to happen. This woman is being abused and coerced into something that she doesn't want to do, and she feels she has no way out. All right, y'all. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
When you can look hot, but you're not a full-time hot person, you're a hot when you want to be person. You choose your own hours. You do freelance hotness. Like, some days you step out and it's giving main character. You know, the beard's done, jawline's sharp. Outfits coordinated, people doing double takes in the street, birds are chirping louder, the lighting just hits. Other days you're dressed like your only plan is to fight your inner demons in a CVS parking lot. And, that's fine. Hair, unknown, fit, technically legal but confusing. Because you never claimed to be full-time hot. You're not salaried in attractiveness. You clock in when you feel like it, no benefits, no dental plan. You're not out here doing hot person everyday work. That's exhausting. You're project based. Pop out when necessary, like a limited edition drop, rare but powerful. So yeah, sometimes I look like a Roman god, and sometimes I look like I deliver groceries on a bike. That's called range.